could be quiet or people could be.
Yeah. We have a lot of other folks joining in. I believe that by the time you started sharing, and of course, sharing your screen with us, it will be a lot helpful understanding the Origin protocol, products, and other good stuffs that you have to share with us today. So
let me let me get some pulled up for you guys. While I'm getting this set up, a little bit of background just on myself. So I've been with Origin for I think just about 8 months now. This is probably my 8th month. Prior to Origin, I was with a different protocol called Alchemy Network, which was a fork of Compound. I don't think they're going to be around much longer. And then prior to that, I was with a couple different high-tech IT companies in the cybersecurity space. But I've been in the crypto space for a while, since 2013. That's when I first started investing in digital assets. So been around the block. I actually have to quit and reopen Discord to share my screen, looks like. So I think I'm going to have to hop off for 30 seconds and come back in, if that's all right.
it's all good. We'll be waiting.
All right, I'll do this as fast as possible.
By the time you started sharing, and of course, sharing your screen with us, it will be
Okay, I'm back. All right, should be able to share my screen now. Okay.
welcome back.
Thank you. So yes, like I mentioned earlier, I'm with the Origin team. Origin is a pretty unique company with 2 different business units that are pretty separate from each other. I think we're still working on ways to connect the 2 business units. I'll start with the NFT side because that came first. So Origin was originally founded actually a little while back in 2017 during the ICO days or the golden ICO days, I guess is a better way to put it. So it's definitely one of the older projects in the space. We've raised I think since then over $38 million from some of the top investors in the space, including Spartan Group and Pantera. But it started off as, I guess you could consider it back then, like a decentralized Shopify or eBay. Decentralized commerce really is what it started at. Decentralized marketplace, essentially. And once NFTs started taking off around maybe 2018, Origin decided to pivot into that space. And Origin went from decentralized e-commerce to decentralized NFT marketplaces. And it actually became a launchpad, an NFT Launchpad. So now, and after that pivot, if you were, say, a musician or an artist or a celebrity or anyone who wanted to launch your own NFTs, but you wanted to do it on your own terms, on your own website with your own branding, instead of on OpenSea or different, more centralized marketplace, that's what Origin became. It enabled you to launch your own NFT marketplace very easily with no code and basically for free. And since that pivot in 2018, there's been some pretty successful launches through Origin. Actually, we've done the SpaceX NFTs, Paris Hilton's NFTs. We did the largest ever music NFT through the DJ Blau. We did Pudgy Penguins, which you can see right here, and I think Zuki as well. We also did the first real estate NFT sale on the blockchain, which is pretty cool, through our partnership with Roofstock. We just had the second house sold, actually, I think just last week. So some pretty big things happening with the NFT side. And then a couple years later, after that pivot, in 2020, that's when Origin launched its second product, which is the Origin Dollar, or OUSD for short. That is the side that I work on, and that's what I'll be discussing for the rest of this call. So OUSD is a stablecoin, but it's a very unique stablecoin. And I can actually just switch over to that website. So it's a unique stablecoin because it's backed by other stablecoins. So backed by USDC, USDT, and DAI. But what's more unique about it is that it earns interest while sitting in your wallet without having to lend it anywhere and without having to stake it anywhere. Just by holding it in your wallet, it will generate interest for you, which is pretty unique to the space because there's not really any other coins that were doing that. There are a few now that forked us, or I guess you could say copied us. But at the time, we were the only ones that are doing that, and since launching, we've been the only ones that have been able to do it successfully throughout the years. So how it works, because I'm sure that's the first question we'll usually get asked, is when you convert in from one of the three backing stablecoins. So again, that's USDC, USDT, and DAI. We then take that stablecoin and we route it through other protocols to generate yield. And the yield that we generate, we pass back to the holders of the origin token, the origin dollar token. We pass back the yield as a positive rebase every single day, at least once per day, but oftentimes multiple times per day, whenever the function is called on chain. So every single day that you have the origin dollar in your wallet, you will have more of it the next day. It only rebases positively. What's also unique about it is that we've designed it so that you can actually earn a higher yield than if you were to manually deploy the same collateral across any of the same strategies on your own. You could earn a higher yield doing it through the origin dollar than if you did it manually. And the reason for that is because there's a couple things that are happening on top of us lending out the assets across the different protocols. So actually, let me scroll down here just so you can see this. So excuse me. This is the yield over the past year. Over the past 7 days, it's been down a little bit. Over the past 30 days, it's been up a little bit more. So it's constantly changing because we're completely on chain, so it's dependent on the protocols that we're lending through. So let me continue back to where I was going with this. Yeah, here we go. This is your breakdown of the current backing assets. But we're deploying the capital across multiple protocols, lending it initially. So right now, a portion is going to Convex, a portion is going to Morpho, a portion is going to Aave, and a portion is going to Compound. So a portion of the yield is coming from lending out on other protocols. In addition to that, we are automatically claiming any incentive tokens or reward tokens. So any Aave, Comp, CRV, CVX tokens, and soon Morpho when they launch their token, those are automatically being claimed and converted into additional stablecoins to be rebased out as yield. There is also a small exit fee for those who choose to exit the origin dollar through our DApp, which I'll show you in a minute. That fee goes back to the holders of the origin dollar as additional yield, so it doesn't come to origin as profit. It's additional yield for the origin dollar holders, which is, by the way, completely avoidable if you were to exit through an exchange or a DEX. And lastly, and arguably even the most important contributor to the yield is that any smart contracts holding OUSD have to manually opt in to earn yield, and many of them either don't have the capability to do this or they don't realize that they need to do it. And so origin dollar sitting maybe in like Uniswap pools or Curve pools, those tokens cannot generate yield. And instead, the yield that would be going to those tokens instead goes to everyone else as additional yield. And right now with the, just about $50 million worth of tokens, about, I think, 30 of it is non-rebasing, non-yield generating. And so all that $30 million worth of potential interest is going to the other 29,000 or $29 million worth of holders of the origin dollar. So it's a significant boost in yield. It's about a 2 to 3x increase every single day because of that large amount in non-rebasing. So that's a pretty big contributor. Actually, I'll pull up this page here to get an exact number. This is our analytics page, which is constantly updating. Analytics.ousd.com. It shows the exact breakdown of how much is being allocated for each strategy, and also gives you the day-to-day breakdown of the yield that's being generated each day. 4.46. The day before that was a little bit more. The day before that was a little bit more. The day before that was a little bit less. You can go back for 3 months on this page, which is nice. So at the moment, 30 million is non-rebasing, and 18 million is rebasing. So it's that's where that big boost comes from right now. It's a 2.62% multiplier on the yield boost, which is nice. In terms of deciding how to allocate the yield, it's completely decentralized. So we have another token, which I'm not sure if it's listed on this page. Here it is. Okay, it's all decided on by the OGV token. So this governance token, once staked for VE OGV on our staking platform, which is right here, enables you to vote on how to decide on the weekly allocation for OUSD. So once per week, it'll be decided on to take this amount right here and deploy it across all of these different strategies. So it's pretty standard voting. One VE OGV equals 1 vote, and however the allocation is voted on each week is how it'll be deployed. And that happens every single week. I think on Tuesdays is when it's done. That's done through snapshot voting, but very soon it will be moved to full on-chain voting on this page, which I think will happen here once it happens. Yeah. So very soon. That's pretty much OUSD in a nutshell. In terms of actually obtaining it, most of the liquidity on chain is on Curve, but if you wanted the actual best potential rate possible, the easiest thing to do is just go to the app, which is just app.ousd.com. It functions just like any other DEX. So you would you'd connect your wallet and input the stablecoin that you'd want to swap from. So again, we're backed by USDC, USDT, and DAI. So just as an example, I'll put USDC in here. If I wanted 1,000 of them, I'd type in 1,000, and you can see it picks the smartest route for giving you the best price or the best rate. So right now it's choosing the flipper. If I went higher, it'll probably switch to Uniswap or the Curve pool. Yep, there's Uniswap, and if I go higher, we also have the ability to mint new OUSD tokens, which I guess it's starting to do now. For going backwards, it might choose the Curve pool. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, and then so it's as simple as that. So you would decide on how much you wanted to potentially convert. It's 1-to-1 with the origin dollar is 1-to-1 with the three backing stable coins. We use Chainlink oracles to ensure the pricing is accurate. And then as soon as you approve the contract and make the swap, it hits your wallet, it will begin earning interest on the same day. It's pretty easy to track. We have the ability to see. Let me see if I can show you an example here. That was a bad example. Maybe this one. Yeah. So this person had 2 transfers into the origin dollar. On one of them, he put $1,300 in, on the other one, $5,600. And since doing that, he has earned $154 in interest just by holding it in his wallet. Pretty neat. So generating passive income without having to, and it's completely liquid, by the way. So unlike maybe staking or deploying on Aave or Compound or any of these other ones, it stays within your wallet the entire time. Like you can trade it or spend it like any other stable coin. since the yield is coming in through the active rebases. At the moment, there isn't any secondary markets for the origin dollar, but we've got a handful of partnerships in the pipeline currently. So hopefully later this year, you might even be able to lend and borrow the origin dollar across multiple marketplaces, and potentially even receive it as cash back on some of the up and coming Web3 debit and credit cards. It'd be pretty nice to have it as a cash back option, because as soon as it hits your wallet, it'll continue earning interest. So that's the origin dollar. I'd be happy to answer any other questions on it, but I think I covered most of it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for the walkthrough. It was super helpful. So I have a couple questions I want to ask, but the first one is, if I heard you correctly, you said you can't trade it, swap it like the other stables, right?
So you can trade it or send it just like any other stablecoin. It is just a standard ERC20 stablecoin. So if for some reason you had to pay someone out of your wallet, or you wanted to pay someone out of your wallet, or you needed to send money, it works just like the three backing stablecoins. The only difference is it earns interest while it's sitting in your wallet. So if it was between you and me and we had to pay someone, I would pick the non-yield generating stablecoin. But it works the same way. It's just a typical Ethereum token.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Another thing is there like an allocated time frame for, when you can decide to swap? I know you've like touched base on, you can decide to, it's like a decision, right? So it's your token. You choose what you want to do with it at a certain time. But is there like a minimum time frame, maybe a space of, you can 1 day, 2 day, if you want to get off the earning yield stage once you swap your stable coin to the OUSD?
So there's no time frame. It's just you go in and out whenever you want. This is maybe not the greatest chart. Maybe I can open it up here to show you like the supply over time. This is since November. So you can see people choose to go in and out all the time. So we were up to 52 million early December, looks like, and then went back down to 48, and then back up to 53. So people are going in and out all the time. As long as it's in your wallet, you'll be earning interest. There is the ability to turn off the interest earning if you wanted to. That would be a manual function you would have to call, I believe. But no, there's no real time frame. There's no KYC or KYB or terms or contracts with the origin dollar. As long as it's in your wallet, it's generating yield passively. It's everything that I showed on this page right here is built into smart contracts. Every single one of these strategies has its own smart contract that you can view with this button right here on each of them. So it's all automated. So, for example, one of the big questions that we get a lot is like, what happens if I put, I don't know, $5 million into the origin dollar and I need to pull out the 5 million like in a day or two? Like, would that be a problem? And the answer is no, it will not be a problem, because the way that we've designed the contracts is that first, the contracts will pull the funds out of the vault, which is essentially just the funds that are sitting waiting to be allocated. So right now the vault has $70,000 in it. So if you were to go and pull out the origin dollar, you could easily get the 70,000, no problem. But if you needed more than 70,000 or you wanted a different token, that's also not a problem, because the contracts are written in a way that we can pull funds out of any of these strategies autonomously. It's very, very possible. So people go in and out all the time. The only thing to just be aware of is the fact that there is that small exit fee if you did want to go through the DApp to exit instead of through one of the DEXs. But that exit fee is small. It's 25 bips, I believe.
And this
25%.
So this is just on the ETH mainnet, correct? Is this on any other chains?
It is only on the mainnet at the point, so you are subject to maybe higher gas than other chains. We have gotten plenty of interest for other chains, especially recently, but not quite enough interest yet for us to spend the time to build it on other chains because there's still a lot of questions that we have to answer. For example, like if you were to build on Polygon, other than maybe Aave, like what other protocols would we use for yield? Maybe Balancer, maybe something around the quick swap ecosystem. So we would have to figure out first of all what we would use for yield. We have to figure out exactly. We'd have to figure out the strategies. We would have to figure out if it would be launched as a separate token or if it would be entwined with the mainnet version, and then we'd have to decide how would the yield function. Like, would the rebases come on the Polygon side? Would they come back only to the Polygon, or would they be bridged back to the mainnet side? And how would the mainnet side interact with the Polygon side? There's a lot of questions we have to answer.
I think I'd prefer just to be associated with that chain. So like I do, I use a DEX for trading on Optimism, and I'm fine with my Optimism, OU dollar having different yields, just based on the strategies in the Optimism ecosystem. I think, there's not a instant cross-chain interoperability, so just trying to do that seems, with anything other than like time-locked contracts seems like precarious. And I would just want to be associated, with my chain. And so if DeFi was doing good on my chain, then the yield should reflect that quite easily in the O dollar, as long as we can identify those strategies.
Yeah, I mean we're still pretty early on the cross chain portion of the Origin dollar. Hopefully we'll see it in 2023. But there's still a lot of questions to be answered, and we are very security focused with the Origin dollar. That's something that I highest as possible on our current chain, and if the contracts are completely flawless, and then we'll start exploring other options.
Well, so to give you some, so the DAO is trying to develop like an investment work group in the Treasury Department, and what we're looking at is, okay, we have stables in our Treasury. We probably, we may have enough stables that are just sitting in the Treasury doing nothing, and could potentially also be doing that for another, year, 2 years. And the gas fee associated with putting, switching to the OUD and then pulling it out a year or two from now could could be worth that 5% yield. Whereas it may not make sense for me personally because the gas fees are going to be well above and beyond, anything other than, my hodling account, which I just like, if I want to save stables for a couple of years, boom, I put it into the OUD, as a personal user, right?
Yeah, the gas savings is actually a big one that we don't normally touch on that often because we tend to consider, or at least recently have considered, the Origin dollar as more of a larger institutional and like DAO as a whole investment option instead of a retail one. But there are actually, if you start to think about it, there are decent gas savings that can be incorporated in this. So when you swap into the Origin dollar, you're paying 2 gas fees.
Yeah.
You're paying the gas fee to enable the contract, and then you're paying the gas fee to swap the contract, or to swap to the Origin dollar, and then that's it. Like, you're not paying any gas to actually receive the daily rebases, which is great.
Yeah.
I guess a third gas fee if you wanted. But that's one of the best things about this is that we're doing all that for you. You don't even have to. You never have to check anything, but it's here if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, that's really great. And this, if DAO Treasuries had this at the beginning of the bear market and shifted their assets into stables at that time, right? most of the DAOs in the space wouldn't be as stressed out as they are. Because we'd be like, at least we're earning 5% on our stables, and instead
Yep.
of realizing like 80 to 120% drawdown. So I
Yeah.
could
So that's
see this
it's
as a
it's funny
big
that you
tool for
mentioned that.
traders.
It's funny that you mentioned that because we've been myself and a couple others on the Origin Dollar business team have been actively recently writing proposals for DAOs to take a portion of their treasury and move it into the Origin Dollar. Prior to my joining, I don't think it was being done. So I guess I joined kind of in the middle of the bear market. But yeah, that's kind of like one of the big targets right now is exactly what you mentioned is the DAOs and their treasuries. I think just 2 days ago actually I submitted one on Rook's forum to potentially take a portion of their treasury and convert it into the Origin Dollar. We tried one with Maker a couple months back. Their risk team was not aligned with us on that. We'll have to try again maybe in a few months when the conditions are a bit different and they're more averse to on-chain yield opportunities versus real-world assets. The Maker one didn't exactly work, but we've got a couple other DAOs that are in progress. We passed one with. Sorry to interrupt you there. I was just finished this thought. We passed one with Popcorn not that long ago.
Nice.
I can pull that one up real quick.
Popcorn's real cool.
Yeah, we like them. That was this one right here. So this it hasn't quite happened yet, but it hopefully will in the next few weeks.
Yeah, if you could make sure to, feel free to share like the resolution and that proposal with folks in the Treasury Department here. Popcorn's,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, there's definitely been like Popcorn members back and forth in Bankless and had some exposure to Popcorn. And ultimately, this is one of the things we're looking to do and discuss with DAO members is, what folks want to do with the way that stables are managed long term and other non-bank tokens in the DAO treasury. Because currently they just sit there.
yeah, and they if it's going to sit there, it might as well be in the Origin Dollar, right? It might as well be generating some yield.
Yep.
I'm happy to share all the info on this proposal and some of the other ones we're putting together within the Bankless Treasury working group.
Yeah. Thanks so much. This is really cool. I definitely see
No
this
problem.
as a very reasonable, hedging tool for, the larger the treasury, the better the use case, and the more long term.
It's a pretty cool product, or a pretty cool token. We've been working on it for a few years. The team is solid. There's 33, I think, full-time people working on it across the two business units.
So one last question for me, I guess, is just kind of like, okay, what if the US dollar collapses? I mean, you'd probably might become actually more valuable than USD stable coins, or, you know, Tether backing could potentially fall out, although I consider that like very unlikely due to the fact that, they're paying off the SEC to make sure they comply with regulations and how they're backed and stuff. But is there,
So
and
that's
is
an
DAI
interesting
itself,
question.
is, I don't consider it risky, but it's mostly backed up by Ethereum, right? Not US dollar is my understanding. So is there a
So
kind of, worst case scenario that kind of breaks the peg, so to speak? Not that you have a peg, but
well, first of all, we chose these three stablecoins because they have the majority,
yeah,
the majority, I guess, use case across DeFi, since DeFi, I guess, ever came to be. I guess you could argue maybe Frax as well, or maybe BUSD. But in terms of the core mainnet protocols, it's these three that we tend to see the most. So that's why we picked these three. We know that there's been problems with all three of them. So USDC has a centralization problem with Circle. DAI, you're right. A portion of it is backed by ETH, but actually a large amount of DAI is actually also backed by USDC. So you could argue that that DAI also could have the centralization problem. Although I'm not sure how involved Bankless is with the Maker ecosystem, but their CEO Ruin put out what he calls an endgame plan a few months ago that is basically a plan to make DAI as decentralized as possible, to separate it from USDC and any other centralized token. But so and then Tether is Tether. Everyone is pretty much aware that they can be sketchy with their things, with what's going on there. But
I use Tether.
So,
I can rely on it.
So does everyone.
There's a story there, but it works.
We hope that it is still okay for the foreseeable future. But anyway, where I'm going with.
If they just break, though, then it's just the yields that break. Like the OUD dollar doesn't break. It's just like, hey, maybe we got to do different strategies because these tokens just don't work anymore. So your OUD dollar is still good 1-for-1 for the main currency, but there may be no yield for whatever like worst case scenario happens.
Right. So that the origin dollar should still be fine, but we are actively monitoring all three of these tokens pretty much 24/7 at this point. We've got email and text alerts set up for pretty much all the engineers across all of our time zones. And so if there ever is a situation where something happens with one of the three stable coins, we're pretty quick to act on it. And to give you a pretty good example, I can head to a specific date.
Well, arguably, your strategies could include any of the most stable currencies in the market, given whatever's happening, in the global economic system, right? Like
right, first of all, we're trying to keep it all on chain for now, and we have started floating the ideas of having other stable coins as backing ones for the origin dollar. The due diligence process for us is pretty rigorous at this point. They have to pass multiple engineering checks. They have to pass multiple audits. It has to have no issues for X number of months, and then it also has to be able to generate enough yield for it to even be worth putting in the time to build those contracts out. And I think since the 2+ years since launch, there hasn't quite been one that has met all the criteria. But there's been one or two that have been close, and I think the closest one so far has been this one, LUSD. So if we were to add another one, that might be the one. But it still goes through the same governance process as well. That's really the last stage. But anyone can go ahead and propose having another asset to be collateral to the origin dollar, or to have another strategy launched. I
assume on your website you have, the documentation and the auditing that you've done on the different strategies.
Oh yeah, that's all in the docs, docs.ousd.com. So in terms of the audits, we've got our own audit page right here, which shows all the audits we've done. We also have opened Zeppelin on retainer now. I'm not sure if we have. We say up here now. So we're going to be doing a lot more audits over the next year. I think we're doing at least quarterly audits, with the next one happening pretty soon. And the strategies is also on here. That would be right here. So these are the current strategies, if you want to dig into them. These two are the most recently added ones. But yeah, it's like I said, it's still all driven by decentralized governance. So if anyone wanted to potentially propose adding another strategy or adding another potential backing stablecoin, it's pretty easy. You just need the I think 50 million OGV or VE OGV to propose that, which is, I don't know, like a couple $100, not very much. But yeah, so that's the origin dollar. It's pretty unique.
Yeah. Sorry for cutting you short. A quick question before it goes off my head again. It went off before. I wanted to ask if the percentage, like for earning, what's like the percentage for that yielding? So for instance, if someone is swapping the stable coin, like $100 worth of stable coin to OUSD, what's the percentage going to be like when like in comparison with someone who is swapping something around $100,000?
So are you talking about the percentage that they would receive, or the percentage that the yield would change?
The percentage actually they're going to receive.
So they should receive pretty close to 1-to-1 with the origin dollar, but as you increase that amount, it will change slightly. So yeah, once you get in the $100,000 range and above that, then it tends to deviate just a little bit. But I mean, there you can see it now. It's back again. So it does its best to stay 1-to-1 at all times. And then the yield is also dependent on the quantity that you're holding in your wallet. So like someone who has $1 million in the origin dollar and someone who has $100, they're obviously not going to receive the same number per rebase. It's all directly related to the quantity that you're holding in your own wallet. It's proportional in that way.
Yeah, all good. I think I can see where the trading API is. Yeah, it was very helpful.
Yeah. So it's the more you have in your wallet, the more of the higher share of the rebase you'll receive every day. But this is over the past year, trailing 4.78. There has been a couple spikes, which have been nice. So like on November around 21st, it was actually I remember the exact days. October 30th was a good day. Can I go back that far? Yes. October 30th, 18%. That was a good day. And on November 21st was a good day. 56%. So those days were nice. The high APYs came, I think, mainly from someone redeeming OUSD for their backing stablecoin and just paying the exit fee. So they didn't seem to mind to pay that fee. And for everyone else, they got a nice little pay bump. And then on what was the other big day? It was, I think, November 10th. Yeah, November 10th. This has been the best day since I joined at 96%. But this day was a little bit different. This day since we're actively monitoring how the three backing assets are performing. Some days we can take advantage of them going off peg a little bit. And so on this day, I think was when USDT depegged for maybe in a few hours. And so on this day, it was actually profitable for other people to trade into OUSD on our curve pool and then redeem it through our DApp, paying that fee. And so a lot of this came from people just continuously paying the fee, but we were monitoring that people were doing the arbitrage, and so we were actively adding funds to the curve pool so that people could pull the OUSD out. And so it was a lot of going in and out on that day, and everyone got a nice payday. So we like to see these kinds of days, but it looks like it's happened maybe once or twice a month over the past few months, but we can't really predict them. We just are ready for them when they happen.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a very helpful one. This is definitely an awesome product, and yeah, just to be mindful of folks' time, I just want to open up just in case any other person has questions. We've been doing a lot of the talking, and we have quite a good number of our Bankless DAO contributors here with us. So if anyone have any questions, this is the good time to bring it up. But just to point out that we will be having a hard stop at I think 8:30. p.m. UTC.
Yep. If anyone has any questions, I am all ears. Well, I guess I'm waiting for any questions to arise. I can mention that there is a new strategy that's currently going through the process, which is our Uniswap strategy.
Awesome. That's perfect. And yeah, this is an amazing product. I'm looking forward to getting involved with it. SCNS has taken the quick step. Yeah, it is the energy. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No. I didn't really have anything else to add.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just in case you can unmute your microphone to ask any question, you can feel free to use the chat box. You can read them out. Currently, there are no questions there yet, but
hopefully I answered all of them during my presentation.
Yeah, for me, it was pretty much detailed. There was not so much I could ask, aside from most of them that have already, gone out of the top of my head. I was trying to put them down before now.
I guess one other thing that I can touch on real quick, because maybe I forgot to mention that too, is the TVL at the moment is 49 million, but it has been as high as 300 million back, I think, early 2021. And one thing to note, I can just pull this up here. So, just about 300 on January 1st, 2021. On that day, January 1st, I've got too many tabs open here. Actually, this is a better yield graph. On that day, on January 2021, our yield was actually higher on that day than it is right now. Handle it. If anyone wants to start trying out the Origin dollar, do not be worried that by converting in you'll diminish the yield. It is fully scalable.
Yeah, that was super helpful because myself, I'm a very scared person in terms of of this, but yeah, that information was at the right time. Came at the right time, though.
All right. Well, I'm always available if anyone has any questions after this call. My Discord handle is Flagathor the Mammoth King, but you can also reach me by email. It's just peter@originprotocol.com.
Thank you. In the absence of any question or suggestion, anything anyone wants to say, we can go ahead and do that async as well. Okay, CNS is thing. Okay, yeah. We can give back the rest of the time. It's gap week. Enjoy your holidays, and thank you everyone for coming. It was a helpful one, and thank you especially to you, Slack, for the walkthrough. It was super helpful and eye-opening. Thank you once again, everyone. See you all in the Discord, and of course, looking forward to continue working with you all in the next coming week, season 7.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.